What's up, Wolfpack? Cole Gregg here, out at Duthie Hill Mountain Bike Park. Today we're going to do a little unboxing video of the Jamis Hardlines. This is a 160mm travel, front and rear, 27.5-inch enduro bike. This bike is most notably known for Jamis's 3VO suspension. This is an instant center suspension design that gives you a near vertical axle path with just a slight bit of rearward axle travel at the beginning part of the stroke. So today I'm just going to give you some unboxing clips, kind of first impressions, go for a little ride and get some clips. Let's get into it. There's nothing quite like getting a fresh bike box, not knowing what color it is, and getting in to actually get this thing trail ready. Time for the next step. So, pull this wheel out. Ooh, that's nice. Wheel 2. So this Jamis comes with the Vittoria Mazzas. So these tires are some that I've seen around. They kind of have a DHF-ish look to them, you could say. Kind of try not to compare everything to a DHF. All right, now for the big reveal. Oh, she's light. Look at that. That is slick. So here how she comes out of the box. Really, really protected. Very, very well done, Jamis. I like it. Using zip ties instead of that nasty tape that takes forever to unwind. All right, let's get her unwrapped. We're back. So we just got the bike unboxed, pretty much all put together. You see behind me here, need to tighten the bars, bed the brakes in, all the standard stuff when unboxing a new bike. So here is that 3VO system. It is paired with a Fox Float Dpx2 Performance. Single lever here, no actual compression adjustments, just have rebound and the climb switch here, which I don't think we're gonna need with this system, but still worth noting. Super interesting 2-bar system here, backed with the Enduro Max bearings here, all over the frame. They're very, very beefy. I mean, you can see the size next to my thumb. Out back, we have the Dior 12 Speed paired with race face cranks. Again, the Vittoria wheels, Vittoria tires and Stans Flow wheels. Pretty solid combo. Up front, we have Fox 36 Performance. It is the Rhythm Edition, so it just has that grip damper with the open and firm switch, air on this side, rebound down below, just like all the other Fox products. Back with race face bars, it looks like, as well as a race face stem. Shimano MT420 4-piston brakes, front and rear. We have the WTB Volt saddle, which is one of my favorite saddles out there. Stoked this bike came with that. And a rad little KS dropper post. So let's move on to the next step, put some air in the tires, bed the brakes in, get all that fun stuff out of the way. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with some B-roll close-ups of this sweet little frame. All right, we're back. Just finished the build on the Hardline. Want to go ahead and get out on the trail, get some clips, and show you what this bike can do. All right, let's do it. It's a sweet dual slalom. Nice sharp corners. Woo! Brakes aren't quite bedded in yet, but just enough in the parking lot. Oh, I gotta get used to riding these leaves. Thing manual is super nice. Position. Another nice little warm-up trail. Nice and flat corners for you. Like this one, oh, it's so sketchy. Little nose bonk over the rock. Nice corners. super tight twisties. Oh yeah, lots of debris. Rider. When you come to places like this, you get a lot of people standing on the trails. Oh yeah, there's a it's cornered. Oh yeah. Oh, this bike is short. Oh, too fast. What's up, Wolfpack? Cole here again, here to give you a little bit more of the rundown on how this Jamis Hardline rides. So we've had this bike for a little over a month now. I've had some awesome time on the trails up back in Issaquah, and now we're out here in Slalom getting some clips for this video. Just kind of wanted to give you the rundown on the overall thoughts I've had on this bike throughout the time we've been on it. A couple things stand out to me. So this bike is a medium. It was unfortunately the only size they had available to send out. So trying to keep those in numbers aside from the review and figuring out how the bike rides for me. With a 439 millimeter reach compared to the 461 on the large, it definitely changed how I was having to ride the bike, being more rear centered versus dead centered on the bike, which kind of led me into some suspension tuning issues and trying to figure out why I was getting some certain feedback through rock gardens and things like that. So on that note, one of the things I noticed with this bike is it livens up any flow trail, like very, very playful and poppy. The 65.5-degree head tube angle combined with the 439 mil chainstays, it's an absolute dream through tight stuff. You can jib off little things on the trail. Finally got my 360s back, so that's a really cool bonus. Where that falls is in some of that high speed terrain. Basically what I was finding was that the bike didn't want to stay straight, and I think it is due to it being a little bit small for me. I'm 6'1", and I do like smaller bikes, but not necessarily under 455 mil reach. But with that said, it corners amazing. Even though the bike's small for me, any tight twisty switchbacks, I was able to get the bike around and really trust that grip. I think the 3VO does a really good job at keeping that wheel more or less dead center. So the first 40 mil of travel has a slight rise, whereas the last 40 has a slight decrease in axle path. So what that means is in that first 40 mil of travel, you're getting a little bit of rearward wheel path, which will just help that small bump sensitivity. And then towards the end of the stroke, you're getting that more vertical or back to center wheel path. And that is behind the axle on this bike. So a lot of bikes you will see that pivot is in front of the bottom bracket, which can cause a lack of small bump sensitivity, but by getting that behind the bottom bracket, you're really isolating all those figures. So the build kit on this bike has been really impressive. The rhythm fork, for being their entry-level fork, I really enjoyed it. Like I set it up to my specs. I didn't touch it. Well, let me take that back. I touched it when I got cold out, sped the rebound up, but other than that, I kept my pressure at 93, which I usually ride on most 36s, and I generally ride the high speed pretty open and just rely on volume reducers, and this fork did just that. It was very smooth throughout the entire stroke. It didn't feel like it was packing, which again leads me back to my point of it being a little small for me. I think my weight being off the back, it was just an interesting bike to get used to in the sense that it was just too small. Other than that, like, I think I'd like to try an XL on this bike to see if that would tame down some of those faster sections through the rough stuff. Overall, with the 3VO system, super impressed. It pedals great. It does have good small bump sensitivity, and that end stroke ramp is there. Where it lacks for me is in that high speed chatter, those really quick, close bumps where you're just getting a lot of impacts. And I brought the rebound up on this shock, and I'm not sure why I was getting that. I think it does have to do with my weight being so far back over the bike and just asking too much of the rear and not enough of the front. But overall, it's a really balanced package at $41.99. I mean, You have the frame you need and want in that nice carbon. I mean, the color's fantastic. I love these like kind of matte gray, almost tan colors. The Vittoria tires, I was honestly impressed. This is the first set I've rode and it's been really wet the last month, and overall very impressed. I would like to put Cush Core in them if I did it again so I can get a little bit lower tire pressure without having to worry about damaging the wheels or dropping a bead. So the Dpx2 Shock, awesome shock. I've become a big fan of the shock over the last few years since they've made some of those key updates. Not having a compression adjustment, not a bother to me. You can work it with reducers. The climb switch works great, and actually, I'm a climb switch user. I always like to use the climb switch, and I found on this bike that I have a little less tendency to do that. That 3VO keeps you up a little bit higher in the travel, but doesn't sacrifice a small bump. It's a really cool balance. Even with the bike being a little bit smaller for me, I don't find myself actually lifting that front wheel on technical climbs, and the pedaling efficiency is awesome. I do have to say, when you stand up, you do get into a little bit more bob, but with 100% anti-squat throughout the entire travel range, it does a really good job. Even like on some of the more low-key trails I was riding at Duthie, you get rewarded when you stand up and pedal. It just supports you and kind of feels like a little boost. So with this being the first Jamis bike that I have rode, I came into it not really knowing what to expect. This 3VO system is new to me. Overall, I've been very impressed. It's a super fun bike on that mellow terrain. It really rewards you when you get out of the saddle and put the power down. Turns all those little bumps on green trails into super fun jib features, and it jumps really, really good. It's very balanced front to back. I would say that under high speed compressions, that's kind of where the bike falls off for me. But overall, super fun bike. This bike is a perfect bike for someone looking to get into a carbon frame that they could ride for a few years and upgrade key components where they see fit down the line. For more detailed spec information, check out our review on thelomewolf.com. Have fun.